Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. This is the intro, by the way. Fuck Suicide Squad. We were going to talk about Suicide Squad, but we're not doing that anymore.
We're doing
Because
Spider-Man.
the Spider-Man trailer just decided to release like in the middle of the night yesterday. I think it was because it was leaked. And I think Sony was just like, yeah, okay, here you go. I think they wanted to release it today, like this morning, because they usually don't release trailers like late that night.
Yeah, I totally didn't see the 100p leak version. No way, I'll never do that, Disney.
Yeah, yeah. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, it's leaked and there's a lot of spoilers, so I stood away from that stuff. But
Yeah.
luckily, I got to see the trailer not being spoiled because holy shit, bro, there's a lot of shit in here for one movie. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it. So we'll just run real quick. Like, what's your history with like the Spider-Man movies? Like, were you a big Spider-Man fan growing up? Did you like the movies, things like that?
Yeah, for me, Spider-Man, like kind of a lot of people was like my first like superhero movie that I liked. I don't know about
Yeah,
you, but that's kind of like the universal thing for my generation. And
yeah.
so I always had like a big heart for like Spider-Man, except the Amazing Spider-Man. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
pretend like that doesn't exist. And also,
As
I
many, yeah.
very controversial. I'm actually was a big fan of Spider-Man 3. Although a lot of people disagree with me, I think you guys don't know art. What about you?
Wait, you mean the original trilogy, like
Yeah, the
the
original
Tobey
trilogy.
Maguire one?
Yeah,
Ooh, that's another conversation for another
yeah.
day.
I,
Okay, all right. Hot take.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, for me, I grew up with the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. That's like my the epitome of Peter Parker Spider-Man for me. That is like I feel like the perfect portrayal. And I didn't really read too much of the Spider-Man comics, but after that cartoon, like I was just like ingrained in all things Spider-Man, from like shows to movies and things like that to video games and whatnot. And then yeah, the Tobey Maguire movies, and then even the Andrew Garfield movies have some qualities that are good. It's not all great, but
But
there are
if you had
some.
to rank them, how would you rank them right now? Because I think everybody
Oof.
universally agrees. Andrew
So
Garfield
the,
is
the
third.
oh, you're talking about from the Spider-Man,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Um, this is kind of tough because I feel like Holland is he's still like showing what he's got. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he's there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I still would put him over the other two. I would put Toby in last. I would put Garfield second, and then
Oh,
Holland in first. Yeah,
interesting. So
yeah.
is it because you didn't like him? Is it because you didn't you put him third because you didn't like him as like Spider-Man personality wise? Because I've seen a lot of people agree that as a Peter Parker he was good, but as Spider-Man
Uh-huh.
he wasn't that great. Is that why?
I feel like he's as an actor, he's not a Spider-Man to me. I feel like he was miscast.
Oh, whoa.
Spider-Man to yes, 100%, bro. I feel like Spider-Man to me, he's a nerd,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a likable nerd. He's quippy and he's funny. I feel like he didn't spew like one funny line from that movie. And even when he tried, it just seemed to be very forced. Like that's how I see a Peter Parker Spider-Man, and he was just not it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you for me, Andrew Garfield, I put him last. As
Uh-huh.
a the thing for me that kind of like made me dislike him is as when he tried to play as Peter Parker. To me, he didn't
Yeah.
really. I didn't feel like he played as Peter Parker because he felt kind of like a. I know they were trying to make him a nerd, but he could skateboard. He can be like
Yeah.
like you said, witty. So he kind of felt like a California nerd, if that makes any sense. Like that's what most of us like called him. Like so, he didn't feel relatable. Like okay, like you're like people like you're a nerd where you're at your school, but to us, you'd be like just a scapegoat that's, I guess, like skating, like in Swiddy, like that. So to me, he felt detached from being Peter Parker as like, a nerd who's kind of like, not that popular, keeps to himself. And so that's why I kind of, as Spider Man, he did a good job, but like the writing or the story was kind of like not there for me. So
Mhm.
so just because of that, I put him in third. For me, Toby, I thought he was a good. For me, I thought he was a good Peter Parker as a representative. For as Spider-Man, yeah, I kind of agree. He wasn't like the little witty Spider-Man that makes those comeback lines, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for Holland, I think like overall he's like he has a little bit of both, you know. He could like be Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So that's my rank. You want to know?
Yeah, I agree with the Garfield criticism that he's too much of a skate bro. Like
Yeah.
he's a science nerd, but he's way too much as a like a skate bro. And they kind of portrayed him like a little bit like a, you know, he's the guy being picked on. But I think what made him better than Toby, in my opinion, is the relationship with Gwen Stacy. I feel like their relationship was so much better than Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire. They actually had chemistry. I actually like cared about their relationship flourishing. Like where Kirsten Dunst and Toby, like I cringed in the theater, bro. Every time I saw them on screen, every time they were talking together, I'm just like in my seat. I'm like, what is this? This is awful. This dialogue is terrible. The way they're saying the dialogue is terrible. I hated it. So I think that's why I put him above Toby a little bit for me. Just by like what's her face? Emma Stone's portrayal of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, for me, again, it's the whole like the story. Like to me, I wasn't interested in that story, and so I kind of like the relationship. I was like, it's okay, but like I care more about what Spider-Man is going to do. Like, you know, how's he gonna save the day? Than like, oh, yeah. So that's why I don't know. It's a bit of both, like bad script writing and not being relatable with not being too Peter Parker-ish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like the script is like, you know, it's not really playing a factor too much. Like we could criticize the script for sure, but it's like how these characters like, you know, use the script to their, you know, to the best of their ability to portray a character that's like, you know, has a certain personality traits.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The script of the second batch of movies was pretty bad, and parts of the script of the first series of movies were also pretty bad. So it's just like how they portray it is how I'm gauging it. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to the trailer, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So this trailer is. I there's so much to say with this trailer. I guess we'll jump right into it. So basically, all right, we're gonna basically spoil like the first. So the movie is Homecoming, the first Spider-Man MCU movie, and then the next one is Far From Home, which I thought this was the Far From Home, but I'm like I forgot that the last movie was also Far From Home because this one's No Way Home. So they're just like they kind of play off each other. It's very confusing.
I remember when it was just Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. There you go. Now you
very very simple and to the point. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna spoil Homecoming and Far From Home if you haven't seen those. So this basically picks up from where the other were left off, where Mysterio like kind of tricked the world into thinking like Peter killed him, and now everyone knows he's Spider-Man. I think it's interesting. I'm gonna play a trailer in the background just so we know. So basically, it starts off like everyone's just like hating him, and just for some reason, I guess like. Everyone's like on Mysterio side. It's hard to tell like what exactly is going, like why everyone hates him. I think it's because of what happened. But basically, this first scene, he's being interrogated, and already like right away, it's like okay, this image right here, Kev, I believe you can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So he's being interrogated. He has a lawyer, right? This is obviously a lawyer. So there's a lot of rumors that like this lawyer is Charlie Cox's Daredevil, which I'm just going to take a second to say that the Netflix Daredevil series, the 3 seasons, are on par with the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I highly recommend checking that out. And if this is Charlie Cox's Daredevil, I think this is the biggest headline for me personally, because he did such a good job as Charlie Cox. I'm sorry, not as Charlie. His name is Charlie Cox, but he plays Matt Murdock. So if they bring him back after his show was canceled into the MCU continuity, like that is a huge thing for me. Did you ever check out that Daredevil show?
Yeah, and I'm actually is there any proof or just like people looking at who Disney recently just hired? Because I noticed that in the scene they're not showing his face, Yeah. And normally if it's like a character like we're not supposed to like care about, or they would just show his face, The fact that they're hiding it is very interesting, and I can start
Yeah.
to see why you're saying that.
Yeah. I think the only proof people have on the internet are his arms, his
Oh
hairy
my
arms.
god.
Dude, I'm so serious. They're literally comparing this dude's arm in the trailer to actual Charlie Cox's arms because they seem a little hairy.
Hmm.
So also there have been rumors of this happening where Daredevil's coming into the MCU with Charlie Cox reprising the role as Matt Murdock. So very interesting, dude. Like that would be awesome. That would be an awesome addition.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Daredevil fan. Like his portrayal made me a Daredevil fan for sure. But that's one of the mysteries
Right.
of this trailer. So he's being interrogated. He's been blamed for the killing. Him and MJ having a little conversation. Everyone's super pissed at him.
Okay,
Hella pissed. And then
This part I want to say
What
something positive.
Yeah.
If this part I was kind of like interested. Do you actually think he'll go back to school? Like nothing's happening, because I kind of find it a bit unrealistic. You know?
Well, there is a scene in this trailer. I don't know if we passed it, where he is in school and everyone in school is like taking pictures of him with their phones. So he is like trying to live his life again. It seems
Interesting. Yeah, because I told you. I think I told you a long time ago that I thought maybe she was gonna help him, and like what were they called?
who was going to help him?
Um,
MJ?
no, what were the like, what were those aliens that they able to like disguise
the
it-
Skrulls.
The scrolls, yeah. I
Yes,
thought Shield was gonna like make it where, Peter was gonna play like Spider-Man, and the scroll was gonna be him, right? And they were gonna show like, oh, you see, Peter can't be Spider-Man because he's here and Spider-Man's there. You know. I thought that's what they're gonna do a long time ago, but it looks like they're going the route of, oh yeah, people know who he is, and like like some people hate him. Like right there, it says "devil in disguise." Damn.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. There was a scene at the end of Far From Home where Nick Fury was revealed to be a Skrull. So that wasn't the actual Nick Fury. But I don't know, like that's interesting with the Skrulls, because the Skrulls could like a character that we've been watching on on the big screen for all these years could end up being a Skrull. Like Ned could be the Skrull. Like it's just
Whoa.
we have no idea. The Skrulls are like completely unpredictable
yeah.
now that they're here on Earth. So I mean that is a good point. Maybe this Tom Holland is a Skrull. Like who knows? But basically like now it's affecting everyone involved in Peter's lives. And this is how I like my Spider-Man. I like my Spider-Man stressing the fuck out.
Yeah.
I like my Spider-Man like he has this identity that he has to keep a secret. And he still has to go to school but be a superhero, and nobody knows who he is. He's like one of the few superheroes that actually has a secret identity. I feel like everyone nowadays is just like, hey, it's me, I'm Iron Man, I'm Captain America, whatever. But
I'm Batman. Bruce Wayne.
or I'm
Yeah.
Batman, yeah. But yeah, that trauma that he has to deal with
Yeah.
of balancing a dual
But-
life is always interesting.
But do you actually see him going back to school, or you think realistically he'll say, "Yeah, I'm done"?
Look, like right here, like look, he's just like walking into school, like nothing's going on, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's you." So
Like-
yeah, can you imagine? Like, I think he's in high school.
Yeah.
Right? Can you imagine because high school's bad enough. Like, can you imagine like where you're just like this superhero now, and like everyone is like on your case about it.
You see, I can actually see this, like that. I can actually see them, like everybody in school, like taking pictures, recording him, like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
wow! I go to school with Spider-Man. Like this is amazing," Like I can see some people being like a bit too, like, "Oh my God, Spider-Man, I'm your biggest fan. Can you sign my textbook or whatever, And some people being respectful, like being like, "Oh, good night, nice job, man. I believe in you." I can actually see that. I wish they incorporate that a bit more in the movie, like how his like the people that like now that they know that he's Spider-Man, right? The people that like him will still like him. The people that are like, wow, starstruck that he, that's Spider-Man, and the people that even like secretly don't like him and hate him that are going to try to mess with him. I hope they show like all that, like that's very
Yeah.
interesting concept.
Yeah, I feel like we'll definitely see two different kinds of factions of people, like on Peter's side against Peter, because right now the media is like pushing him as like this terrible guy. But I definitely think we'll see more of that, because it's interesting with there's a bully called Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
He obviously bullies Peter Parker, but he loves Spider-Man. So
Oh.
that's a super interesting character trait. Like I don't know Yeah, I think we'll see Flash Thompson in this. And yeah, so it's the same thing with him in these movies. Like he hates Peter, but he loves Spider-Man. He thinks he's like a hero. So it'll be interesting when we see Flash again, and like, how do you see Peter now? Because Peter is Spider-Man. So it's like, what side do you take? So I think we will see that for sure. But yeah, so he basically goes to Stephen Strange, to try and fix everything, and it's interesting because everything's snowy in his little sanctum for whatever reason. I'm sure will be explained.
Mm-hmm.
But so he basically goes to him and he's like, you need to change everything to the way it was. You need to like have it so like no one remembers that I'm Spider-Man. And this is an interesting concept because there is a storyline in the comics where he does the same thing. I think it's like after Civil War, he reveals himself to everybody.
Yeah.
And he goes to Stephen Strange and he's like, can you forget everything happened? But I think in that comic, like MJ dies or something, or he has to make a deal with the devil or something. It gets very
Wait, Doctor Strange?
crazy. Yeah, I think he goes to Doctor Strange, or I think he makes a deal with the devil. I don't know. I have to check that, but one or the other. But I think the initial concept is he goes to Strange for help on this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're gonna take this storyline, whatever path that goes down. And it seems like Strange is doing the spell, and then Peter makes him fuck up. So the spell isn't perfect, which makes me think like, okay, are we going to end this movie where Strange actually does the spell correctly? Because I feel like everything's happening because of Peter was like very anxious. And there's also a moment with this where like he's talking about like, oh, everyone's going to forget I'm Spider-Man, but I'd still like Aunt May. I'd still like Ned to know. But like, I'm thinking to myself, if everyone forgets you're Spider-Man, you can still go up to Aunt May and be like, listen, I'm Spider-Man. You can still take your mask off. So I thought that was like a weird part of the trailer.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that big a deal. But it's just like something I noticed. Like, listen, you can still take your mask off. It's okay. You can still tell specific people.
Do you think Doctor Strange messed it up on purpose to teach him a lesson or something, or you think he actually messed up? Because I find it hard to believe somebody like him will mess up, unless it's just a plot thing.
It could be a plot thing because, like, from the trailer, like it seems he's getting frustrated. He's like, stop talking, like he can't focus because he's like, he's bothering him too much. So it could be like a lesson, but I feel like if you're messing with the multiverse, I don't think Strange would be someone to just be like, okay, let's mess up the multiverse just to teach him a lesson. I don't know. That's a good point too. Let's see. So yeah, he does the spell, and now see. Have you seen you've seen Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah,
the original movie. I really like the visuals of that movie, and I feel like we're gonna get more of that with like the city like collapsing on itself and stuff. I think the visuals of that movie was really good. So here's the first one. So we see Sandman. I think this is Sandman.
Yeah,
and then we see Electro. There are rumors of Jamie Foxx's Electro being in this movie, and if it is Sandman, it's probably going to be that guy from the third movie. I forget his name.
Yeah.
I totally forget.
Well,
his name.
yeah,
He's
I know
like
what you're talking
like a
about.
buff dude. Yeah. So I mean, what do you think about those two coming back? If they are,
I'm curious to see if it's going to be like from when they go to the multiverse. Is it still their world, or is it a completely different world? Like, did it go from what you've seen?
It seems like the realms are just like all fucked up, or I like, obviously it seems like people from different multiverses are interacting with this current world, and I guess that gets into the conversation we'll have later about like who's the real villain in this movie. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Interesting. Yeah, because I first initially I thought, okay, maybe they went to like another Spider-Man world. Or a world where Spider-Man died and they just replaced them, But if it's like all the worlds coming together into one world, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, this is the scene that like initially blew everyone's shit. Like we see Green Goblin's like his pumpkin ball.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what's his face? What the hell's the Green Goblin dude? Willem Dafoe. That's his name. It seems like that's his voice.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, this is the original pumpkin ball. It's the same pumpkin ball. We don't see him obviously, but um,
Do you
I think he's also back.
they're just gonna bring characters back? Is that what you're saying, like the original actors, or you think there's gonna
Yeah,
be
because
completely different like characters?
um, I think since they have Alfred Molina
Mm-hmm.
back as Doc Ock, I think they're gonna bring Willem Dafoe back.
Interesting.
They'll probably bring Electro back.
Uh huh.
Did I say? I think I said Jamie Dimon before. I meant Jamie Foxx. I don't know if I said Jamie Dimon. But yeah, Jamie Foxx. I think they'll bring him back. I hope they don't bring Topher Grace Venom back. I hope.
I have bad. So I've been hearing rumors that they're
Oh.
they're kind of bringing back the Sinister Six. Was it a Sinister Six?
Sinister Six.
Yeah. And so I have a feeling that the last person we might see in this movie might be Venom towards the end. So I won't be surprised. Yeah. But I'm so curious because he died. Well, I guess in this, in the way they're playing it right now is that in this, maybe in another universe he did defeat Spider-Man, or maybe
Yeah.
he just started his reign of terror or something like that, Doc Ock.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how they're going to explain this, or they're just going to be like, oh, he's back. There's no explanation, which I'll be okay with, just to see Spider-Man fight them.
Yeah. Yeah. They did die. Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe did die. I think they will explain it. I think it's kind of lazy for them to be like, oh, they're just back. I think they'll be like, okay, this was a universe where they didn't die and they're still fighting Spider-Man or something. I think they'll push it like that. But so yeah, it's interesting that they're back. So like Doc Ock and Green Goblin are really important Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
So I'm interested, like, first of all, I'm interested to see like how much are they in this movie? Is it just like a final battle thing, or did they play like a really important part? Because if that's the case, then I feel like Doc Ock would be the main villain in this movie, where he's taking advantage of the multiverse, just going crazy, and he's like, bringing like other villains from other multiverses to like fight Spider-Man.
Fight Spider-Man?
And then eventually do a Sinister Six thing.
Oh yeah, so in the end, like they all get together and like they decide to go after Spider-Man. I feel like this is gonna be like a 2-part movie. What about you? I don't think this is gonna be one movie. Like, oh, he goes into the multiverse and he solves the problem and then goes back home. I feel like it's gonna be a 2-part movie. You?
I don't think it's gonna be 2-part. I think they're definitely gonna continue from here to another one. But here's the thing: I think this movie is. So Sony and Marvel are sharing the Spider-Man rights, right? Like Sony really wants Spider-Man in their movies, the Venom, and like they're doing Morbius and then Craven and stuff like that. I think this movie is going to open the door for like Tom Holland to be a part of like Venom. Like, I think at the end of this movie, I think we're going to see Tom Hardy Venom. I think we're going to see that. Because I think the Venom Carnage movie is coming out in October, I think. This movie comes out in December. So I think like the end of the Venom movie is going to tease his appearance in this movie, maybe. I don't know, where he's like getting absorbed by like the multiverse and then going somewhere else or something. I don't know, but I think this is opening the door for Tom Holland to be in the
yeah.
Sony-verse.
So basically, them explaining how he can be in like Sony products.
Yes, and Sony films, with other villains. I think so.
Interesting.
I think that's how they're.
How about how you feel if the other Spider-Man show up too?
I think they're gonna appear because somebody brought up. So Doc Ock here is saying hello, Peter. Obviously, it's cut where it's like he's saying hello, Peter to Tom Holland, but he doesn't know who Tom Holland is. Like, he knows who Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is, but he doesn't look like... Unless he's mistaken, but I feel like Doc Ock is smarter than that. I don't know. It could be like a misunderstanding, but I think he's saying hello, Peter, to Tobey Maguire.
Oh, my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you're right. I remember now. He doesn't know who he is.
Yes. He's obviously way younger. I think that's what's going on here. Personally.
You think they cut it out where he says Peters, but in the trailer he said Peter?
Oh, so you think he's saying hello, Peters?
Yeah, like in the movie, he's gonna say "Hello, Peters," but in the trailer, he says "Hello, Peter." So to
It,
tease us.
it's very possible because with these Spider-Man movies, especially like they like to manipulate the audience with like clever editing and stuff like that. So I feel like, especially with the Civil War, with the introduction of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
like he said he said something different in like a different position, and it was all like misleading and stuff like that. But when he had the shield, so yeah, I think there's a lot that can happen. Like that Green Goblin could be the Green Goblin from the Amazing movies. I forget his name, the actor's name, but that he was like a younger. He was Harry actually, but I hope it's Willem Dafoe.
So, would you rather see Harry's dad or Harry himself as Green Goblin?
I'd rather see Willem Dafoe.
Oh,
100%. Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Yeah, I don't want too much of that Amazing universe in this movie.
Yeah. That'll be. That makes me wonder what will if Harry will actually, because remember he helped Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3, so I wonder if he would also show up to help Spider-Man. Well, the Spider-Mans.
That's a good point. Will he show up too? Like I'm pretty sure. I think it's safe to say that Kirsten Dunst will not be in this, like the MJ from the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the villains and some of the heroes, it's possible. No, wait, actually, yeah, because Harry died in the end of 3.
Yeah, he died.
But again, they could do the same thing.
Yeah, well,
with,
they
like,
brought back back Doc Ock. They could I'm kind of scared writing wise because they could easily mess it up where there could be a bunch of plot holes. But then again, they can just say multiverse stuff and all of a sudden it's all fixed. Like, okay, it's multiverse. In that multiverse, he didn't die. He's still alive. Harry didn't die. He's still alive. That Venom came from that year. So I guess writing wise, they kind of have that leeway where they don't mess up, like, where they leave a lot of plot holes for people to be like, huh, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, So yeah, I'm just excited, dude. I want to see all the Sinister Six, all these Spider-Mans come together fighting like them. What about you?
Yeah, my one concern is like with Doc Ock and the Green Goblin. Like I said, they're pretty, classic villains, like his most vicious villains, basically. If they're gonna do this, I'm hoping they either go all the. I hope they go all the way. I hope they recast Alfred Molina as the Doc Ock because technically Peter still has a Doc Ock in his universe. So. Is Alfred Molina gonna go away after this movie and then like reintroduce another Doc Ock to like, because I feel like that storyline, like the Green Goblin, Doctor Octopus, like those characters need to be fleshed out. So I wonder what they're gonna do with Alfred Molina. Are they gonna keep him? Are they gonna keep Willem Dafoe? Like I'm really curious as to what they're gonna do with those specific. Ones.
Now that I think about Sandman, Sandman kind of like. From the third movie, he wasn't really he was he was just robbing banks. Well, it's still a bad thing, but to basically help his daughter with her cancer, right? And in the end, he kind of like left Spider-Man. I wonder if he like is going to pretend to be with them, the bad guys, but secretly he's like gonna try to help them, like maybe send secret messages and like, oh hey, this is what they're planning. Get ready,
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna have Tobey in this movie, I feel like he had a good send off. He ended things well with Tobey, so maybe him and Tobey will have like some kind of relationship together. It's gonna be really interesting. Like they could do so many different things.
I know, that's what makes it exciting.
That's why this multiverse aspect is like just literally it's endless possibilities for the movie. So it's really exciting, I think. Regardless of my feelings of Tobey Maguire. Yeah. I just wanna see like a shot of all three of them together, right? All the Spider-Mans. They're gonna do that.
Yeah,
they're 100% gonna do that.
Yeah.
My concern is like this is a teaser trailer. I don't want to see any more.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those people that don't see anything until you see the movie.
I'm already sold, dude. I don't need to see anything more.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing, like sometimes the trailer like addresses too much because this is a 2-minute teaser trailer. This is not a tease. This seems like a full-fledged trailer. Usually teaser trailers are like under a minute or something.
30
But
seconds under a minute.
but if they do a trailer and then they show off Tobey Maguire, Garfield, and Holland, like that's gonna be all over the news. Like we're not gonna be able to avoid that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So if they wanna spoil that, then that's on them. But hopefully they don't. Hopefully I go into this knowing as little as I do right now, because
Yeah.
it's coming out pretty soon. It's coming out in a few months in December.
From I can see them doing that just because a lot of like
Marketing.
the marketing, the old time, like the old people or my general, they're gonna be like, what, the original Toby's there, and I don't think they're gonna be excited for McGuire. No offense to him, but like, but if people see like, wait a minute, he's there, people are gonna be like, that will generate buzz, Although I do agree that it would be better if they don't show anything like that until like maybe the end, and then word of mouth, like, oh my god, they're there.
Yeah, you make a good point where, older fans, like there are a lot of fans of the original Spider-Man trilogy and Tobey Maguire for whatever freaking reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they show him and Garfield, like, Garfield not so much, I feel, but if they show Tobey, like that's going to get butts and seats. So I feel like they will spoil it if that's the case, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I hope not, but you make a good point about it marketability.
Yeah, that's it's they want to make the most money as possible, and if people see that he's there, they're gonna be like, oh damn, like the original Billet's on there, he's there,
Yeah.
multiverse, anything is possible. Like I can probably see this being like the biggest box office like moneymaker for the year, possibly.
I think so. I think Spider-Man 3 still holds the number one out of all the Spider-Man movies. I think. I don't know if Far From Home beat it, but I know Far From Home made a lot of money. But I think overall box office, I think Spider-Man 3 is number one still.
Yep.
I could be wrong on that, but this definitely has the potential to be huge for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all my thoughts on this crazy movie.
All right, so let me ask you this: how would you want it to start, the middle, and then the end?
Obviously it's going to start with the multiverse being, in chaos. I hope they introduce if they're gonna really play with Alfred Molina and all these other villains. Like I hope they introduce them soon. I hope it's not just like a final battle. Like, here they are for a final battle and that's it. I hope they really develop them if they want to keep them. If they're not going to keep them, then they'll probably have them for like a final battle thing.
Yeah.
So and then we'll like do whatever. We'll work with like the current universe, Doc Ock, whoever that will be, in like a future movie. But yeah, I think this is definitely they've been trying to do a Sinister Six movie for a long time, and they teased it at the end of Homecoming, where Vulture was like team up with Scorpion out of all people to do Sinister Six. So I think hopefully after this movie, hopefully we get a Sinister Six movie. I'm hoping that's the plan for the future.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. For me, the first part, like I said, I want to see like how Peter adjusts to his new life. Like now that people know who's Spider-Man, to be like, deal with the people that are like now. How will he deal his life now that people know who he is, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. For like the first maybe like 20 to 30 minutes, maybe that'll be too long, and then he goes to Doctor Strange, like tries to reverse it, and that's how they mess up, and that's when we get to the multiverse. And I'm hoping Doctor Strange doesn't like I know he like he's there, but I hope it's he's just there as a supportive character, like, oh, I did this power, like this magic, right? And now I'm kind of like drained, so I won't be much help. Just like I want it to be mostly like a Spider-Man conflict thing. And so Doctor Strange is just going to be there like, since I did the spell, I got to recharge and whatever. So I'm not going to be at my full strength.
Yeah.
I hope that's how they put it into half. And then, like, Spider-Man explores around. Realize, I don't know if the spell worked at that point. If people forgot who he is.
Yeah.
Maybe it did. Let's just say it did. And, like, he's back to his old, but things are, like, crazy. The multiverse is like splitting like the city apart, and then all these villains from other different one by one they start showing up,
Mm-hmm.
and then like it gets to the point where like they start working together, the villains and
Yeah,
Spider, and
I
they
would like to
start
see that. Yeah.
yeah, and they start fighting Spider-Man, and he starts getting overwhelmed because he can't fight them all, right? And this is where
Mm-hmm.
like maybe Toby's like comes in and helps him out,
Mm-hmm.
and or all those Spider-Mans, like the iconic scene, they just come out of nowhere and help him, and like they're like, hey, who are hopefully they do that meme. Have you seen the Spider-Man meme where they like point at each other?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, if they do that meme where they like point like, wait a minute, I'm you, you're me. uh
I think I would be disappointed if they didn't do that.
yeah, I
They
actually
have to do that.
they have to do that. Yeah, they're like they just point at each other. Oh my god.
That would be a hilarious moment in the movie.
Yeah.
For sure. 'Cause they kind of did it in the Spider-Verse at like the end of Spider-Verse.
Hmm.
There was like a quick little jab at the meme, which was really funny.
Yeah.
It was like an end credit scene, but yeah, you make a good point about them working there because this could be like a mini Sinister Six movie.
Yeah.
This could be Doc Ock. This could be Green
Or
Goblin.
yeah, actually, maybe they're not
Sandman,
working
Electro.
together. Maybe they just want to, kill Spider-Man. They just so happen to be like, oh, you hate him too? I do too. Let's,
Yeah, I could see that more at the end where it's like Doc Ock's like, we all have a goal. Like
Yeah.
maybe instead of like being rogue, we could fight together. Maybe this could cement like the idea of doing that, working together. I would actually I take that back. I wouldn't like them to work together in this one. I like them to be like just I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him myself.
Oh,
kind of
okay,
thing.
yeah.
And then lead up to like, okay, now that failed. We tried to do it rogue. Let's do it together, and then have Doc Ock as like the headmaster of all that. I would that's what I would like to say.
Oh, yeah. That's actually better. Yeah. So maybe they fight each other. Maybe the villains fight each other.
Yeah, because they don't know who Alfred Molina doesn't know who Willem Dafoe is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who they are.
Mhm.
Like Sandman doesn't know who
Mm-hmm.
Electro is. They're all from different movies and different reboots and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Yeah, true. Yeah. So
yeah,
maybe they fight each other trying to take down Spider-Man. Gives him a chance to run away. Then they team up with the other Spider-Man. And so in the ending, pretty much like I said, like maybe they like all the Spider-Mans agree to work together. Maybe the villains, like they still not 100% with each other, right? And then they lose, right? And then they realize, wait a minute, we got to work together, and that's how they form the Sinister Six.
yeah. Because I don't think Green Goblin is part of the Sinister Six. Doc Ock is, so that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Electro is, that's two. I think Sandman is, that's three.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Vulture, who's in Homecoming, that's four. And then you have Scorpion, who's five. And you're missing one more, which could be Craven or Mysterio. If Mysterio is actually dead.
I don't. Maybe they might bring him back just to show that Peter did not kill him. I guess if they.
I could see him being back. They could probably do something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think at the end of Far From Home, I don't think he actually
maybe
died.
Venom. Did you say Venom?
I don't think Venom is a part of the Sinister Six. I don't think so.
No, but like
He's-
just for marketing reasons, they might add him.
Yeah, but I guess if Marvel wants to stick to like the continuity and to like the origins or like the source material, I don't think Venom is a part of that. But yeah, it makes sense for marketability. But I feel like for marketability, they'll want like a Spider-Man versus Venom movie.
Oh,
I think
actually,
that is, like,
yeah. Actually, true.
that is good enough of marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting as to the future of the Spider-Man movies. I just hope Sony doesn't fuck it up, because they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I hope so too. Like, I see the potential in this and like the future stuff being big. You think Shield will have anything like helping Spider-Man whatsoever, or you think
Like
there's
some Avengers coming down to help or something?
I guess, or giving him some support, like some new tech.
I hope not, because I like Peter Parker. Without in Homecoming, it was kind of not disappointing, but it was kind of like he's getting too much help from Tony Stark, and I feel like Doctor Strange will be like that help. I think there was a leak of like a Spider-Man toy where he gets like a new outfit and it looks very Doctor Strangey. So maybe he will help him with like a power or a suit. He's definitely going to get a new suit in this movie, I feel, because he's using like the Iron Spider and using the original black one.
And to sell toys.
Yeah, exactly.
And to sell
like
toys.
They're gonna have a new suit, and it's gonna be on the poster, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, I need that toy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll definitely happen for sure. Whatever form that takes is yet to be known, but yeah, I do like my Spider-Man, like just by himself, like trying to figure out things on his own. But this is the age of like the Avengers and all that stuff teaming up and whatnot. So I hope Doctor Strange doesn't outplay his welcome. I'd like to see him in a good amount of this movie, but not in the entire movie.
So you like my idea of like him being like drained from doing that spell and being only limited with his power?
Yeah, maybe they'll like get separated or something in like the multiverse. Because there are a lot of scenes of Peter and Strange, like he's on that train in that canyon. He's also like chasing him through the city as it's like collapsing from the multiverse or whatever. So I think he'll play like a somewhat an important role, but hopefully it's not a predominant role. So we'll see.
All right. Any other things we want to talk about?
I think we've talked about everything. I think we have talked all things Spider-Man.
Oh, the most important thing. Well, Aunt May be there. Hot Aunt May.
Yeah, she's already in the trailer.
Wait, she is? I didn't see where.
Yeah, she's in the it was when they were interrogating Ned, and you also saw a shot of Hot May. I think the internet has a name for her already.
Yeah,
but she's a pretty good Aunt May. I like her as Aunt May. I don't think there's a reason for Tobey Maguire Aunt May to show up here. I don't think that makes any sense.
I don't. Is she alive? I don't even think.
Oh, you mean the actress?
Yeah, from the order. Yeah, I don't think she is.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah, but yeah. So she's there. I'm sold.
Yeah. Yep. that's the one thing I want. More than Alfred Molina, more than anything. Hot May's in this movie. Oh, that's funny.
Right.
There are people out there that are like, yeah, Hot May's in. I'm good.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
All right. Any final thoughts? I think I'm good. I'm excited.
I'm excited. Want to do a podcast like as soon as like a week after or like the day we see?
Given like we'll definitely do a podcast like going in depth with spoilers when this movie comes out in December. For sure. So yeah. So yeah, guys, leave us questions and topics. Can be Spider-Man related or not. And for next time. And all right, we'll catch you then. Peace out.
Bye.